Hi, second graders. Welcome to chapter 17. Yep, new chapter called Pictographs. I know it sounds familiar. We will learn about lesson 1, reading pictographs with scales. We will learn in today's lesson how to read and interpret pictographs and how to complete pictographs. Now, before we get into how this all works, I think we need to know exactly what pictograph is made of and what it is. Pictograph uses pictures, right? We can tell just from the sound of the name. And it shows us, the pictures show us the data that we collected, the information that we collected, we can see in this pictograph. Okay, now the parts of the pictograph are, if you look at the top, the very top of the pictograph, it says number of ice cream cones sold. Well, this that's on top, we call it a title. Just like the title we have in our stories, right? In reading, we know the title is on top, okay? And it tells us what this is about. So just like in reading, it also works the same in our pictograph. Now, if you look on here on the left side, here we have words, okay? Different categories. For example, in this case, we have Rachel, Anna, Sydney, and Destiny. These are girls that sold ice cream cones, okay? So these words here that you'll find on this left side, we call those labels, okay? And I know that sounds familiar too. I'm making connection to reading class. Yes, in diagrams, we also had labels, right? So the same thing again, it's giving us the name of what is it that it's in the pictograph collecting the information, okay, or the data. So, or who it is. It could be who or what. It depends. Here, the labels could be different depending on what information we are collecting for the pictograph. Now, in the middle of the pictograph, you can see pictures, right? But we're not going to call them pictures. We're going to call them symbols, okay? Sounds more fancy. What do you think? So these are symbols, and again, they could be different depending on what you're collecting. This information changes. They could be stars, hearts, I mean, you name it. Now, here, I left the most important for last because on the bottom here, there's one more part of the pictograph that you must remember and always pay attention. Now, remember, this is the most important part of a pictograph, and we call this a key, okay? Now, key, it lets you know what each picture, what each symbol in the pictograph stands for. So this key, you will see why is this so important to know, okay? So again, take a good picture, take a good look at this slide. Take a picture in your mind, okay? I hope you took a picture already and you recorded it in your brain, okay? Everybody take a picture here. Okay, another picture, just to make sure that you took several, because guess what? After this, I'm gonna play a little memory game and see if you remember the parts of the pictograph. Right, ready? Let's do it. Let's see how good your memory is. Okay, so I have here, very similar picture of what I just showed you, right? I agree. Well, let's see how good your memory works. Let's see if you can help me to answer, let's say this one right here in the middle, okay? What did we say this one is called? If you're saying key, not sure about that. I wish I would be in a classroom so I would have that, opportunity to call on names and just give you a chance to participate. Well, I guess I'm going to have to answer it myself. Well, I think I know. I remember what I said. This in the middle is called symbols. Yep, it's called symbols. We don't call it pictures, right? We call it symbols. We are fancy. Now, this on the left, what did I say? Did you say labels? That's correct. These on the left here are labels. Let's see. The one on top, I remember because I made a connection to reading. So the one on top, it's telling me what it's about. So it's going to be title because title tells us what it's about. Now I remember this part. It's the most important one, the one I need to remember, and that is the key, right? the key. I mean, we call it a key because can you open the door without a key? No, right? So it's important to have it. And if you lose a key, well, you're not going to get in, okay? So that's the same thing here. We need the key to solve the picture graph, okay? Without it, I think we will get many wrong answers. If we don't look at the key, we will not solve and read, interpret the picture graph. Well, as you can see in this picture graph, each one of these ice cream cones stands for 3 ice cream cones. But guess what? Did you know that the key in the picture graph can be different? And I'm going to show you how they change. And remember, I told you they're very important for us. So we need to look at the key and see what number do they stand for. For example, the one we saw in a previous slide was representing 3. Well, this one represents 1 person. I mean, you see that the labels are changing. Also, the symbols here are different and the title is different. But what really matters and what is really important to us is the key. Okay, so this one has 1 person. Each symbol stands for 1 person. This one, look at this one. This one stands for 10. Okay, 10 students. Now, we can also have one that stands for 2. Okay, so it depends. It is really depending on what information we are collecting, and we have to look at the key because that changes the whole reading of our picture graph. I know you might be asking now, like, what does that mean for us? Why is it so important? What's the big deal about these keys? Like, why do I really have to worry about the key? Well, guess what, second graders? Prepare yourself to skip, count, and multiply because if the key or scale, we also call it as a scale, is 2, that means you have to multiply by 2. Or if the key scale is 4, well, you have to multiply by 4. Okay, and this is what it means to you. That means multiply or skip count, whatever works for you, but that's what you're going to have to do depending on what it says. If it says 2, you multiply by 2. If it says 4, you multiply the symbols by 4. Excellent. So now let's try it and see how this works. Ready? Okay. Here we have a picture graph with the different numbers of different colored balls in a box. Okay, we have different balls, and now I can see the symbols that we are using are hearts, and each stands for 3 balls. Okay, so I can tell that the key is telling me that each is 3. That means I'm going to be skip counting or multiplying by 3. Great. So let's give it a try. Number 1, how many colors of bows are there? Okay, how many colors? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. So we're going to write number 5. And see, right now we are interpreting, we are reading a picture graph. All this information that we're going to we're going to be collecting, we can get just from reading a picture graph. Now, how many bows are yellow? I'm going to look at the yellow label and the yellow here picture, and I will see how many we have symbols. Well, they say we have 2 symbols, but each stands for 3. So I need to do here 2 multiplied by 3. Okay. Well, that was horrible writing again. And that is 6. Excellent. Now, next question, how many bows are blue? Okay, I'm going to look at blue. And again, I have 4 symbols. Now, each stands for 3. So, multiplied by 3 equals to 12. Okay, great. So, we're going to put the answer here for blue is 12. Now, how many bows are green? The same thing we're going to do again for the green ones. We have 1, 2, 3 symbols. Each stands for 3, so 3 multiplied by 3. You see, this is what I told you. This is what it means to you. It means to you to multiply. And you are so lucky because you just learned the table of 3. And I picked that by, it's very intentional. It's not coincidence that I picked the key to be 3. I just want you to drill on your skills more since you just learned it. How many bows are green? I'm going to put 9. And now, guess what else we can also learn by looking at the picture graph? We can also compare things in the picture graph. So Now, how many more bows are orange than yellow? Now, we know if we have a question like that, how many more, how many less, we are comparing. We're finding the difference. And if we are finding the difference, we need to decide to use subtraction. That's correct. So let's see. We said how many do we have orange? Do we already know how many have orange? We don't know that yet. So let's find out how many first we have of orange bows. Orange ones, let's see, here they are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 multiplied by 3, it's 15. I can put the answer just straight into my picture graph. 15. I have 15 orange ones. And again, I'm comparing them with yellow. I like to highlight those two that I'm comparing, those two items, so I don't get it confused because I might end up comparing with something else. So I have here orange. That's the one I'm looking at. And I also need to compare it with yellow. So for yellow, we already said it's 6. So let's put that in here. In fact, it actually helps if you put them in there right away. Like, for example, for the yellow one, we said we have 6. For blue ones, we said we have 12. So you can put those numbers in here because it's easier to look at numbers than at the symbols and having to multiply again. And we said for green ones, we have 9. We haven't solved the red one yet, have we? No, we haven't. So compare them, orange and yellow. So orange with yellow, circling these two, because these are the two I am comparing. Now, if I'm comparing, finding the difference, I said I'm going to do subtraction, but I have to be careful. When I subtract, just like when I do division, right, I cannot put the small number first. I have to always put the big number. So I'm going to put 15 minus 6 equals 2. And I know you know your basic facts. It's 9 because 9 plus 6 is 15. So the difference between these two is 9. Now, which color has the fewest? When they say fewest, that means I'm looking for the ones that have the least. You see all this great information we can get from looking at the picture graph. Now, which color has the fewest? I know how many the blue ones have. The red ones, let's find that out right now. Let's complete that. Red has one symbol times 3 is 3. That was super easy to solve. Then we said this one has 6, this one has 9, and this one has 15. Okay, well, by looking at all these carefully, I can tell that the red one has the least. The red one has the smallest number. So I'm going to put here red. Okay, well, don't laugh. I know you're probably like having fun when you see me writing with the mouse. Oh well, enjoy yourself. Which color has the most? Now when they say the most, I'm looking for the biggest number, right? For the number that's the greatest. Well, the boss in here, the greatest number in here, I see it. It's number 15. It's the orange one. So I would put here orange. Okay, orange. Yeah, I did it. Okay. Okay, so this is how we read a picture graph. I think I have one more to look at to see if we can practice a little bit more and see what other information can we get. In fact, you'll find out that in this one, we'll be completing a picture graph. Remember, I told you at the beginning that we will also not only read and interpret the picture graph, but also complete it. Now, guess what? What do you think that we have to complete here? I mean, yeah, there's something empty in here, and I don't have a key. So it seems like we have to complete that. Let's see if we can do that. Now, here we have Mr. Bishop owns a, Miss Bishop owns a pet shop. She starts to draw a picture graph of her pets, okay? It shows the number of each kind of pet in her shop. Okay, so the title is kinds of pets. Okay, sometimes you even have to create a title, and this is a perfect title. Remember, title is something simple. You don't want to make it too long, right? And it has capital letters. Okay, here we have the pets. Okay, let's look at the first exercise here. She has 20 fish. Each of these symbols stands for, and we don't have the key here, animals. Well, to figure out what the key is. Let's say fish. They say that she has 20. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we have 5. So, for it to be 20, what would I need to do? Well, we said for the key, we will have to multiply or skip count. So, what would I have to multiply number 5 by to get to 20? 5 by equals to 20. 5 multiplied by what number is 20? That's correct. 5 multiplied by 4. So we need to put here, the key is 4. And that's how we solved our key. Or you could also do 20 divided by 5, whatever works for you. Now let's look at this one. She has more birds than hamsters. As you can see, we're going to be comparing birds with hamsters. So for us to be able to compare, let's look at the birds. Okay, here are the birds. Be careful what you look at, okay? That you look at the right label. So I have a bird here and I need to find hamster. These two are that I am comparing. Now we remember that when we compare, we have to do subtraction. So first we have to find out how many we have of birds. So let's count the symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6, but each stands for 4. So we're going to do multiplication again. 6 multiplied by 4 is 24. And as you can see, we have a table 4. We're reviewing our chapter 15 again. Hamsters, we have 1. So 1 multiplied by 4 is 4. Excellent. So we have 24 birds and 1 hamster. So again, we said we're going to subtract, and we have to subtract from the bigger number. So 24 minus 4 is 20. So she has 20 more birds than hamsters. Great. Now let's look at this one. There are cats and birds in all. Now when we say the word in all, I always highlight and underline all the keywords and important information. So in all is telling us to, that's correct, we need to do addition. Addition is the one that helps us to find out how many we have in all. Now we need to again find out how many we have birds and cats and birds, okay? So let's see. Cats and birds, it says that we have here 3 symbols of cats. So 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. Okay, so we put 12. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. And now we are also looking for birds. And birds, we said we have 24. So cats and birds, we need to add these two numbers to find out how many we have in all. 12 plus 24 is 36. Excellent. Now, let's look at next one. She has 16 rabbits. Let's look at the rabbits, but we don't have any in here. So we need to complete this picture graph. If she says that she has 16 rabbits and our key is 4, for us to find out how many rabbits she has, we can either do 16 divided by 4, or we could say 4 multiplied by what number is 16? Okay, so we know that 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. So here we would have to put 4 of these symbols, okay? Okay, and so we're going to say she draws 4 symbols on the graph. Last one, she buys 8 more turtles, okay? She will draw, now let's look at the turtle. Right now we have 1, 2, 3. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. That's what we have right now. We have 12 turtles. Now, but she buys 8 more turtles. She will draw how many more of these symbols on the graph if she said she bought 8 more, okay? She has 12, but she decided to buy 8 more. So I cannot put here 8, right? I cannot draw 8 more of symbols because that would be 8 multiplied by 4, that would be 32. She only bought 8. So in order for me to be able to find out how many I can draw, I can again do 8 divided by 4, or I can do 4 multiplied by what number is 8? And it's 2. So we're going to be drawing here only 2 extra symbols, okay? And so we will draw 2 more of these symbols. As you can see, we were able to collect a lot of information by reading a picture graph. We were able to compare, we were able to find how many we have in all, we were able to complete it, right? So this is, and we practice our multiplication skills. So this is pretty cool. What do you guys think? I think it's a great chapter and I think you will enjoy it. Now, I saved the best for last. Have you ever heard of that, saving the best for last? I hope you have. Um, if you thought that I forgot to invite someone to my lesson, well, you are mistaken. God was here with us the whole time. It's just that He was waiting patiently for us to invite Him and make Him part of our lesson. He often does that in our lives. He just waits for us patiently. And He did that again. So I'm so happy to have Him here. And let's complete this nativity worksheet together. Okay, so let's look at the sheep. Okay, well, we need to create ourselves a symbol first for the key. Well, I think I'm going to use a star. Okay, so sheep, we have 4 in here, and our key stands for 1. Okay, well, if you look at here, we have 2, we have here 4, and we have here 3, and then we have 1 animal here. So the only number that I really could use for this key is 1, because none of these numbers I have in a table of 5 or 3 or 2 or 4. So I would only be able to use the key 1, okay? That stands for 1. So sheep. We have here 4 sheep, so that means I'm going to draw here 4 stars. Yeah, those are stars. Then we have here horse, or I think that's a donkey. So we have how many donkeys? 1. Okay, just 1 because it stands for 1. Again, that was the only key I could have used for this picture graph. Camel. We have 3 camels. So I'm going to use 3 stars here. And then we have cows. We have here 2. So I will draw 2 symbols of stars. Two, not 3. Okay, never mind this one. Okay, so I got too excited. So this is our picture graph. Again, I need to complete the key, and only key I could have used for this one is 1 because none of these numbers are are not in the table 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. So I would not be only them. I mean, cows are in the table of 2. Okay, and also the sheep. But how about the camels? Camels? Do we have number 3 in a table of 2? No, so that would not be an option for us to use the key to be 2. So I needed to use only the key to be number 1. Okay, so you will have to also solve the key often, and you will practice a little bit more further in a lesson. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you for being part of this beautiful worksheet, and thank you for your attention. I will see you until next time, and be good. God bless you.